When you think of David Fincher movies, most of us tend to think of films like Fight Club, Seven, Zodiac, or even, God help us, Alien 3. Sorry David, the studio fucked you over on that one. But one film that seems to slip under the radar is The Game, a 1997 psychological thriller starring Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, about a man whose life slowly begins to unravel after agreeing to take part in the mysterious game of the title. And that's a real shame, because if you haven't seen this movie, then you're missing out on a well-written, well-acted, and perfectly crafted thriller that's basically a masterclass in paranoia, slow-building tension, and character deconstruction. The film stars Michael Douglas as Nicholas Van Orton, a successful investment banker living in San Francisco. His career's brought him a life of wealth and luxury, but behind the flashy suits and the expensive cars, he's kind of a lonely, unfulfilled man, separated from his wife, and facing up to the unwelcome prospect of middle age without any real passion or purpose. He's also haunted by the memory of his father, who killed himself on his 48th birthday, so needless to say, he's not exactly thrilled that his own 48th birthday is coming up soon. That's when his younger brother Conrad shows up and offers Nicholas the chance to take part in a mysterious event known only as The Game. The exact details and nature of the game are kept secret, but it's marketed as being a kind of live-action roleplay that integrates with your own life, and offers the slightly ominous guarantee that it'll change your life forever. Nicholas is skeptical at first, but reluctantly agrees to humour his brother by taking part. Unfortunately, he ends up failing the rigorous entry process and gets rejected as unsuitable. And that's it, that's the plot for The Game. Only it isn't. As the days pass, Nicholas begins to realise that all is not well with his life. It begins with little things that seemingly go wrong for no reason, but slowly a pattern begins to emerge. And when he happens to bump into a waitress with a past connection to the game, he realises he's caught up in something far more sinister than he ever expected. Bit by bit, his life begins to fall apart around him, and all of his resources and layers of protection are slowly stripped away. His bank accounts are hacked and emptied, his house repossessed, his professional reputation ruined. The game's become like a monster consuming every aspect of who he is, until eventually it's going to destroy him as well. Realising that the organisers of the game make their money by targeting wealthy clients and stealing all their resources, Nicholas is thrown into a desperate race to find them and uncover the truth about who they really are. But how can he escape from an organisation that seems to be everywhere and nowhere all at once? Who can he trust, and who might be secretly working against him? Is any of this even real, or is it all just part of the game? The closer he gets to the truth, the more the pressure and danger ramps up, eventually culminating in a desperate shootout and hostage situation where Nicholas finally discovers what the game really is. And the ending is so fucking awesome that there's no way I'm going to spoil it for you here. It's a pretty rare movie that can keep you guessing and questioning yourself right up till the final scene, and an even rarer one that keeps you so invested in the protagonist that you actually care what happens to them. Every time you think you've got this movie figured out, it drops another twist on you. Every time Nicholas manages to see through some lie or manipulation, all he really does is uncover yet another layer of deception. He's a man wrestling with shadows, trying to fight an enemy that's everywhere and nowhere all at once. An enemy that has the power to control and ruin every aspect of his life, that's always watching, always one step ahead. And I think this is what makes the game so fucking tense and unnerving. You never really know what they want from him, why they're doing it, or what their true capabilities are. Everyone around him could be working against him. Whether he chooses to run or hide, there's simply no escaping the game. David Fincher is a master of crafting slow-building tension and paranoia, creating dark, oppressive worlds where you're never quite sure who or what you can trust, and The Game's a brilliant example of this. There's no evil villains sitting in dark rooms commenting on how Nicholas is doing, no insight into the men and women working against him, no hint about who they are or what they really want. All of this stuff's great for building a tense, intriguing setup, but at its heart, The Game is really an exploration of the man at the centre of all of this. Just like the protagonist of Fight Club, Nicholas starts out as a successful but unhappy man, surrounded by superficial wealth and comfort that he doesn't really appreciate. He dines alone at expensive restaurants, he's got no close friends, and he's even estranged from his wife. He's basically your stereotypical middle-aged man, bored and complacent about life, and it's only when those things are stripped away from him that he begins to really come alive. He's thrown into a whole new world of fear and danger that pushes him to the limits of what he can endure, and as much as it terrifies him, well, maybe it also helps him appreciate what he had. Both of these films are making a similar point about the empty and unsatisfying nature of modern life, where everything is safe and sanitized and superficial, and both movies in their own way dare to suggest that maybe what we all need is a bit of danger and risk to remind us what the fuck we're even living for. I guess my point here is that if you're a fan of Fight Club and the ideas that it explores, or you just generally appreciate tight, well-constructed thrillers with talented casts and directors at the height of their powers, then I guarantee you'll have an absolute blast with the game. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.